tanto jugando suelto como en competición. Tanto si se trata de un rápido 9 hoyos o de un gran 36. Tanto si juegas bajo presión o arrasando, siempre das lo mejor de ti. Nuevo Fuel de FootJoy.
I'd like to welcome Patrick Reed to the interview room here at the Mexico Open at Vidanta. Patrick, you just finished 9 holes in the Pro-Am. Hot, steamy morning. Just what are your first impressions of the golf course here?
It's so pure. I mean, when you're sitting up there and you get to the driving range Monday afternoon and it looks like carpet, and you go into the golf course and it's identical. I mean, it's an absolutely amazing shape, perfect shape. It's a long golf course. It has some length, but really the defense here this week is going to be wind. The wind has to blow because, I mean, even with the length, if there's not much wind, guys will be able to go out and attack this place. But the golf course is good. I mean, you have to work the ball both ways, and you have to get really disciplined, I feel like, at this place. There's some pretty wide fairways out there, and you still have to set up and hit a quality golf shot because even though they're wide, you have to play from certain angles into these greens.
You've had some experience in Mexico at a number of different courses. You've already played here this season at Mayakoba, finished T56 there earlier this season. Of course, you won at Chapultepec in 2020. What do you love about coming to Mexico?
I think the biggest thing is the culture and the people. There's nothing better. You come down here, and every time I've been to Mexico, whether it's in Mayakoba, whether it's here, whether it was in Mexico City, the people are so friendly. They treat you like your own, and you really feel like you're at home. And it has something to say because we've been to 3 different venues in Mexico, and it's all the same. And I knew once this one came on the schedule that we wanted to come and play, and ever since I've been here, it's been unbelievable.
How would you assess your season so far? You're currently 60th in the FedEx Cup, and you had a runner-up finish in Bermuda in the fall. How do you think your season's gone so far? How would you assess it?
I feel like I've been doing things a lot better than have kind of resulted in. But the great thing is we have a decent amount of season left, and I feel like the game's where it needs to be in order to improve and to get where we need to be because. The game's close. The game's there. Just need to go ahead and put it all together and get out there and shoot some numbers.
Just one last one from me before we take some questions. As I mentioned, you're 60th in the FedEx Cup currently. I'm impressed with the fact that after your first season, you ended up going to the Tour Championship, the top 30 at the end of the season, 9 consecutive times. That's pretty amazing, and I don't think that gets the credit that it deserves. How do you perceive that achievement compared to a lot of the other things you've done as a major winner?
To me, I'm really proud of it because that means you have to play consistently well every single year. You can't have a down year. You have to consistently play solid and throughout each season be inside the top 30 on the PGA Tour, which we have the best players in the world playing on the PGA Tour, and to be able to do that means your game's obviously in the right direction and where it's supposed to be in order to compete at the highest level. Because if you make it in the top 30 year in, year out, that means you're also playing well in the big events.
Excellent. I'll take some questions and just hand the mic to Careful. Start with you.
Hi, Patrick. With this course, you mentioned the length. Is there, do you do a bag tweak at all, add an extra hybrid or wood or something of the sort, or how does that go about in your game plan for a course like this?
No, I mean, the biggest thing is, for me, I always have basically a 15 club set, whether it's a hybrid or a 3-iron, but everything else stays the same, and the hybrid or 3-iron will depend on if it's windy or not, because if it's windy, then you don't want the ball floating in the air. So really it just comes down to that. But the golf bag for me relatively stays the same just because, you want to be very comfortable off of tees, and especially if you're hitting 3-wood off of a tee or even into a par 5, you want to know exactly how far that ball's going to go. You don't want to have to sit there and try to get used to 2 different 3-woods and a bunch of different clubs. So for me, it's the bag stays pretty much similar. It's just swinging with it myself and knowing that, hey, even though the hole's long, 2 quality golf shots will put you where you need to be.
Absolutely. And Scotty Scheffler said something last week I wanted to get your thoughts on. He said he felt more pressure at Q School than on Masters Sunday, and you've kind of been in the Monday qualifier Q School grind and have won the Masters, so I wanted to get your perspective on those type of feelings.
Yeah, it was weird when I was at Augusta that Sunday. When I woke up, I felt so calm. it was almost weird feeling how calm I felt. I felt normal, felt just kind of at peace. And then once I walked onto the first tee, that's when it hit me. And the nerves hit me throughout the first hole. But once I got done with the first hole and I hit the fairway on 2, at that point on, I felt normal. I felt ready, and just it was weird. I mean, it was almost as if I had that feeling inside that, hey, it's your time. Go ahead and just play your normal game, and it'll happen. And for Q School, I mean, I'm right there with them. I mean, I was after my first 2 days, I was at the bottom of the board. I shot 18 under my last 4 in order to make it on the number. And you have Q School. At the time, my wife was on the bag, well, soon to be wife on the bag, and we were getting married. I think the following week. So there was a lot of pressure on that week, just that week, to go out and play the golf we're supposed to play, especially with how well we did on the Mondays and came close to getting our card that way. That we felt like we had to go out and actually capitalize the year off by getting your card and making it.
Is there like energy from doing that at Q School that you can like take with you for your whole career that you can still feel and draw back on?
Oh, for sure. I basically just taught myself, and I was able to feed off of that. Hey, it doesn't matter if it's a 3-hole stretch, a 9-hole stretch. You still have a long time to kind of try to make it up. I mean, that's the thing in golf, is it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. The sprints are the Monday qualifiers. It's 18 holes. You got to go out and perform. But when you have a full tournament, you're going to have your ups and downs throughout the rounds, and you just have to make sure that on the downs they don't get you out of it mentally. Because physically, your guys are going to be able to bounce back and hit some quality golf shots and be able to turn it around. But going through something like that in Q School, it allowed me to, one, realize that, all right, you got beat up for those 2 rounds, but you have 4 more. And then also it taught me that when I need to go out and play golf and shoot numbers, I'm able to do that.
Yeah, so touching on that mentality you have, what is your process for those really tough shots or those moments that are extremely stressful on the course, and how you stay focused and maintain your composure during those?
For me, the biggest thing is you try to. Throughout all my practices, I try to be uncomfortable. You want to put yourself in uncomfortable situations while you practice, so then when you get in those situations on the golf course, you already have a sense of feeling that I've done this before in practice. And so that's basically the biggest thing for me, is you put the ball in divots, you put it on bad lies, you put yourself behind trees in practice to learn how to deal with those, as well as, all right, also not just to hit a golf shot, but see, okay, where's the best leaves? Make sure you're thinking correctly, because thinking's 60% of the battle. All of us have the talent to be able to pull off a golf shot, but when you're not swinging well, you're in a bad spot, am I thinking correctly to put myself in the best spot to minimize the damage?
Hi, welcome to Mexico. I got a question. What is the biggest challenge to assist to a first-year tournament like this?
I think the biggest challenge is just getting to know the golf course. We haven't seen it before, and because of that, we don't know certain areas that are better than others. I mean, you might look on paper and feel like missing it on this side of the hole compared to that hole is the better spot, but until you actually get in those scenarios and situations, you're not really going to know. So, the biggest thing is, with obviously during these practice rounds, you try to learn as much as you can on it. But, once the tournament comes down, really sitting there and thinking where it is the best lead golf shots in order to attack these golf holes.
What are your expectations about the Mexican crowd? Because you had been in Mayakoba and then Mexico City. There's difference between the crowds?
Well, if the crowds are anything like both of those, the crowds here are going to be absolutely amazing. I mean, the fans in Mexico City, just like the fans in Mayakoba, are just absolutely, great people and amazing to be around. They get rowdy when you make birdies and hit quality golf shots, and and if you unfortunately hit a bad shot, they're there to pick you up and to kind of keep you going. So, I look forward to all the fans coming out and hearing all the loud cheers and roars.
Patrick, quick question about the weather. Obviously, sweltering hot out there. Most golfers, they get to about 14, 15, and the round starts falling apart. How do you keep it together mentally and physically when it's so tough outside?
I think the biggest thing is, especially with how hot it's going to be this week, I mean, there's a difference between, even though temperature might say it's not stifling out, there's no clouds. I have yet to see a cloud since I've been here. And so the sun's just beating down on you. And the biggest thing is just try to stay hydrated and really just try to stay in the present. I mean, I'm obviously try not to burn as much energy as you can. And all the energy you're going to burn is hopefully during the golf shots, not during extracurricular stuff or really in between shots with all the talking and kind of wandering around.
I have one more before we go, unless anybody else. You're a global player. You played all around the world, a lot of different championships, and this is Mexico's National Open. How important is it for you to play in National Opens of countries around the world, and how meaningful would it be to win another one?
It's very important to me. I've always wanted to be known as a worldwide player and play around the world and compete in not only National Opens, but also just compete around the world and try to grow the game of golf worldwide. And to be able to come down here, and, I mean, obviously you've been in Mexico multiple times, but to be able to come down here and have a chance to win Sunday would mean a lot. And to be able to hoist that trophy, you know, it just would mean a ton to me, as well as, you know, my coach and everyone else.
All right. I appreciate your time, Patrick, and have a great tournament.
Thank
Maybe
you.
We'll see you in here on Sunday.
Yes, sir.
El nuevo Pro SL no tiene clavos, pero tiene un agarre increíble. Con una plancha de carbono adicional para optimizar el retorno de energía y un nuevo y moderno diseño, el zapato original de máximo rendimiento sin clavos tiene algunas ventajas importantes.